Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.
It's time for the Bonnie Sher Show, a whirlwind of wit, wisdom, celebrity, and the boomer life. With a little bit of this and a lot of that and so much more you don't want to miss, here's Bonnie.
Well, hell, you're laughing already. I didn't say anything funny yet. Let's just start this again. Hello. Welcome, new friends and old from near and afar. I am your host. I am Bonnie Sher, and I am here to guide you through the worlds of entertainment, of course, through issues pertaining to the great boomer generation, and we also spend lots of time talking about the type 1 diabetes community. So thank you for being here with us. Feel free to share and to give us a call. You can call us and get to us right here in the studio at 323-843-2826, or you can tweet the hashtag BShareRadio. Before we get this show on the road, I'd like to acknowledge jazz great and Grammy-winning Wayne Cobham for my Super Duper Heroes theme song. Thanks, Wayne. And I also want to thank Corey Bone of Crown and Anchor Jewelry for allowing me to wear their jewelry in exchange. I say this every week and it always stumbles out. But anyway, Corey, fabulous jewelry. It's Corey Bowen, B-O-A-N. You can find him on Twitter, or you can always hit me up at bonnie@bonnieshare.com, and I'll be happy to tell you how to reach him. Now, when we come back, actor, singer, writer, Jason Culp. Be right back.
Your life story is more than the things you do. It's a story built on the moments you make today and the impact you have on others. How big is your story going to be? Live your legend.
Well, welcome, Jason. Thanks for, Thanks for taking the time to come in and schmooze with me. I really appreciate it. This is cool. So, we were just chatting in the green room that you've recently moved back to La La Land.
Yes, the prodigal son returns.
Doesn't it always happen?
Yeah, well, I'm amazed that it did. I never thought I was going to get out of New York. So
nobody does once it has its clenches on you, but that's why they make airplanes.
Actually, I have a little green Toyota, and I stuffed everything I possibly could into it and drove across.
Did you now?
So, yeah. You know, it's amazing how huge and yet containable the country is. You know, that you can like get in the car at one door in Upper Manhattan and somehow arrive here in 5 days. You know,
but do you drive straight through? Do you?
I did, yeah. I had done it.
You're a better man than I, Gunga Din.
I like driving.
Oh, I love
do,
to drive, but then there gets that point where, okay, I've driven enough. Now where do I go?
Yeah, well, 10 hours, and then you find the best vagabond inn or whatever's there. And
Okay, well, the next time I choose to do this, I know who to call for instructions. I'm no fool.
well, listen.
So now you got here, and what had you been doing work-wise while you were in New York as far as your acting and your writing? I know that I have read many pieces which I have loved.
Well, thank you.
No, and I wrote you on Facebook telling you that I was
you. I
so
appreciate that.
absorbed
Mhm.
by not only what you had to say, but the way in which you presented it. It could have become a very bitter story. It could have. It had all the makings.
Yeah.
But you didn't let it go there.
Right.
So maybe
Well, the thing is, you're just glad you have a story. I mean, the material of your childhood, whatever it is that happened, it actually gives you material, right? That we're always gathering material as actors
Isn't
and
that
singers,
true?
right?
Isn't that
So
true?
it's like, I got pretty good material. Why not find an interesting way to tell it, But I went to New York with a vague notion about really, going back to the theater. I'd been out here. I grew up here, and I'd been in New York as a toddler, by which I mean I was 19 and 20. In the
Toddling around?
very early 80s, studying
toddling.
acting and, learning the ropes and kind of doing what my father had done, which, of course, it was a very different scene from 1951 to 1980. But so in the early 90s, I went back and I'd been on a couple of soap operas out here, and I was a little bit lost with my identity as an actor, and thought I must be in the theater. And I went out there, and I promptly did not go into the theater.
No.
I fell into voiceovers, which was my first regular kind of income in my life. And it surprised me, because I always thought, advertising or commercials, while they're great, it was always just an ancillary, activity. And it just clicked. And I was doing it all the time. I was narrating commercials, and I was doing audiobooks, and I thought, well, maybe this is what I was meant to do. And it's like whatever it is that somehow clicks, you think maybe that's my destiny,
That's just where I was just relating to.
And while I was doing that, I thought, and I have always wanted to write, and I had a story in mind. I mean, actually my story. So I thought, why not let this work subsidize, that, and I'll stop, auditioning for 6-week contracts in Cleveland, doing the classics, for whatever it was, $500 a week, and try and write something that might, make a difference. And that journey didn't quite go as I expected it would. On paper it looked good, and then suddenly we had strikes in the industry, and commercials dried up, and so the couple of years of really good income, go south, and there you are, struggling and writing a book, and sitting in Starbucks trying to write your way out of the problem. As a
Where
lot of
did we
people
go
do.
before Starbucks?
I don't know. I don't know, but maybe people didn't write before then. I mean,
That's possible.
I always found it hard to write in my apartment. There were always way too many distractions and too much comfort. It was just way too easy to lie down. So, the Starbucks provides that great sort of community, environment.
There's that
where,
vibe
like,
that's there.
Other
You go-
people are trying.
Oh,
to work
everybody's
it
got
out,
a laptop.
and here we
Everybody's
are.
writing a project. Yeah. And drinking.
Way
water.
too much coffee.
Oh yes. Well, took over for cocaine.
Right.
It did. It's the same thing. What do I know? Do me a favor. Hold on to that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all together? Are we ready?
Got 3 minutes.
Oh, I have 3 minutes. We have 3 more minutes till we
Let's fill 'em
take a
up.
break, and then we get to come back. So in this little period here, this is just kind of a silly question, but I'm feeling silly.
Please.
Clearly having a family background of show business and your father being the fine actor that he was and cute too. Do you ever want to do anything else? Have you ever had a yearning to be in any other industry?
It's funny.
If you had been
it's-
born to a guy who wasn't in this business,
Gosh, I don't know if I can answer that.
well, have you ever
I
thought
just
about
know
it?
that as part of what we do, which radio and music and all of that stuff being it's kind of a part of the same thing. I always wanted to be a DJ, and I was recording myself as early as 5 years old, like on a little cassette recorder, pretending to to run a radio show. And in fact, I have done.
I could take some notes if you want to send them my way, because I've lost control here.
And
yeah.
I've for years now done a mock radio show, which I occasionally will post, online now. I have a character called the Mr. Soft Talk, and he was sort of cobbled together from like various influences like William B. Williams and Jonathan Schwartz, of just the very erudite and kind of incredibly laid back, DJs who know all about the Great American Songbook. And so I probably could have loved doing that or film editing, which I also love to do. But but I learned all that because of the world I was born into.
Right.
So
And I think that when we, I see you.
I know what that means.
Wrapping up. I am the world's worst rapper. I know that guy, Jarvis. Wait till you see your Hanukkah present. You laugh now. Wait till I see your present. Now, damn, you just, okay. All right, that's true. Okay, that's true. So now what I'm really going to do is I'm putting in a break right here while I try and get my head back together. Every 30, 40 years it works. But we're going to be right back here with my very special guest, and that's Jason Culp. And sit where you are, and we're going to be right back.
To be at peace with myself is the most prominent thing, and I am at peace with myself. I didn't deal this deck, I'm just playing the game. That's all. That's it. Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise. And making sure that I get the nutrition that I need, and it's a balanced meal. My name is Maurice McGriff. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Type 1 diabetes can be living in anyone.
Type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas doesn't produce insulin. It's not caused by your diet. It's not caused by anything you did.
Type 1 diabetes can be very serious.
Blindness, amputation.
Learn more about type 1 diabetes.
Help support JDRF finding a cure.
T1D looks like my brother.
T1D looks like a friend.
Type 1 diabetes looks like me.
And we're back, and you are tuned into the Bonnie Sher Show, Boomer Life. We have the pleasure of having with us a special guest today, singer, narrator, writer, actor, really nice guy. Of course, I'm talking about Jason Culp. So listen, join our conversation. I'm imploring you now to dial 323-823-2826, and or you can tweet the hashtag, and that's BShareRadio. So let's pick up where we left off before I lost control again.
And where were we?
Oh, now that
Was I supposed to hold the bookmark on that?
Didn't you get the memo?
Oh.
Okay, we'll ask you another question, just to start off clean. So what are you looking toward now that you're back in LA? Having said that, I mean, we do have a semblance far more than I've ever seen when I've lived here in the past and last incarnations. We have a theater scene happening here now.
Yeah, it's really true. And it's, I think, more diverse and possibly experimental than even in New York right now, because people can't afford the rents for small spaces in New York. So that scene's kind of pretty truncated.
I think the other thing is people are getting to a point where they can't afford to go see Broadway shows. No. How are we going to teach our kids?
Of course.
How do we show them that? You want to take a family of 4 to the theater? You're talking $4,000.
Yeah, right. Really.
I didn't want to be an investor. I mean, if you asked me and I got maybe, but no, you didn't ask me. I didn't get. I'm going to give you $1,000 for a ticket. What if I didn't like the show? I mean, not that I wouldn't, but I think it's really disruptive.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I am back to be the actor I was always meant to be. I let myself get. We were talking before. I was writing and doing voiceovers and earning money however I could, but I kind of let myself kind of drift away a bit from that vocation. And it's just kind of the start of a new chapter, made me realize how much acting is left in me and how much I still love it.
Isn't it a wonderful recognition when something that has been in you
exactly
is able to, and it's, I mean, you're obviously the same man, but with different insights now, which will flow into the characters. I mean, the longer we're on the planet, I believe the more we learn.
Yeah.
And there's so much to see, and then we can create our characters even and fine-tune them perhaps even better, because we're seeing it now. We're seeing more of it.
Well, the nice part, too, about being this age is that you don't have nearly enough time to screw around doubting yourself and wondering if I'm good enough. Do I measure up to my idols? It's just like, this is what I got. All of that stuff, all those years that I was bumping into walls and stuff, that was all my experience, and now I'm here to channel it, So
totally can understand.
It's great to have that chance to start another chapter,
and to have the head to know that it's available for you.
Right.
That you're not stuck in, well, this is how I always did it. If it works, well, then you do it that way again. Yes. But if it didn't work the way you wanted it to work, not to anybody else's eye, but the way makes you just kind of go, oh, yeah, this makes me an even better me.
Right.
What a joy. I mean, how many things can you ask for over that?
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, we're glad to have you here in LA. Let me ask you this. How can our viewer, listeners, and all, well, I guess that's about the choice. You're either a viewer or a listener.
Yeah.
How can we follow you and know what's up? I know that you're on Facebook.
Yeah, I've been sort of using a Facebook page, sort of like a flexible website, just to keep posting my progress and
is
that come up.
Is that page called Jason Culp?
It's called Jason Culp Actor Narrator.
Now you know, and there it is.
It's all one word, so you should be able to find
as only Facebook can make you tell. And I know also that you have a number of recordings up on SoundCloud.
Yeah, SoundCloud, Jason Samuel Culp. And you know what the Samuel stands for.
I do, and just because it's me, I have to tell you, the Samuel comes from Samuel Davis Jr.,
exactly,
who was Jason's godfather. And I guess there's something in the fact that I'm now Manny's godmother. Sammy's son. You see, we just all keep godding around.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And that's it. Were you close with Sam?
I wasn't. I felt close to him. I wasn't close to him until I made a concerted effort to spend more time with him when I was like in my early 20s. And I was starting to sing, which I'd been doing all my life, but I got pretty serious about and began to train and do open mics and, just the most terrifying thing, which is getting up in front of people and opening your mouth and hoping the right notes come out.
And the right lyrics.
Yeah, those two.
And the right lyrics.
And so I began to go hang out at the house, and
which was
I spent a lot of time.
Magical.
Yeah, it was awesome. I spent time with Altavis when Sammy was reaching his 60th birthday, and he was getting his hips replaced. And so we were in that mad flurry of getting that celebration ready, and we edited those tapes at George Slaughter's
that was a wonderful
outfit,
event.
which I still have, and I'm so eager to get those transferred.
That was a wonderful event.
Yeah.
It's a little when Gregory Hines dropped and kissed Sammy's shoes.
Oh yeah.
Over and out for me. Okay, whatever you want the rest of your life, man. You got it.
Yeah, that was great.
What a classy, clean move that was. Oh, I love that. Well, Jason, I want you to stay in touch with us. Let me know how things are going.
Sure.
You are an absolute delight to meet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Culp. As I go to break now, I'd like to acknowledge the very important work of the Diabetes Research Institute and encourage you to support their efforts. Millions of children and adults with diabetes dream of a cure for this just devastating disease, and we dream of living a life without painful finger pricks and insulin injections, and of course the risk of life-threatening complications. Scientists at the DRI are working hard to make this dream become a biological reality, and they are advancing research to patients, and they're changing lives. You can visit them online by going to diabetesresearch.org. Our song of the day is coming up next, and that will be Jason Culp's When I Look in Your Eyes, written by the phenomenal man Leslie Rickus. And then we'll be back again. See ya.
Type 1 diabetes can be living in anyone.
Type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas doesn't produce insulin. It's not caused by your diet. It's not caused by anything you did.
Type 1 diabetes can be very serious.
Blindness, amputation.
Learn more about type 1 diabetes.
Help support JDRF finding a cure.
T1D looks like my brother.
T1D looks like a friend.
Type 1 diabetes looks like me.
When I look in your eyes.
Welcome back to the Bonnie Sher Show, Boomer Life. Somebody just told me that I shouted out the wrong telephone number. Imagine that. The real number here in the studio is 323-843-2826. Got it. Okay. Now, let's move on. And my co-host for this segment is Sara Lasker, a member of the T1D community from the great state of Wisconsin. Welcome, Sara.
Hi.
Just miles and miles of miles and miles. First of all, I want to thank you for sitting in with me today. I don't know if I should call you Sara or Coach Sara.
Either way, I respond to both. How about
Well, why don't we let our audience know what is the basis of my confusion? What do you coach baseball?
I go by Sara Coach Lasker. I have my own business specifically for people with type 1 diabetes. I help coach them through the occupational, social, spiritual, intellectual, physical, emotional, environmental aspects of life with type 1.
And it's important for me to say at this point, and if my listeners and viewers don't know you already, that Sara is also a T1 herself. So this, I would imagine, you've created from what you've learned as a T1, and then with
T1D and counting,
and a great education. Can't beat that.
Yeah, and speaking of education, I actually am only one of 11 Master Certified Health Education Specialists, Certified Diabetes Educators in the world right now. So it's really, talk about, and take a niche and you bring it down even more, I'm right there right now.
That's pretty terrific. Well, we Midwesterners, yeah, I'm from Chicago. But anyway, tell me a little bit about your story. How old were you when you were diagnosed?
Yeah, it was May 28th, 1983, my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. Here's guilt on a platter.
And basically, I was diagnosed, I was 5 at the time, and wow, it was a long journey for a while there, but I found the American Diabetes Association and JDRF and found their diabetes camps, and that changed my life. I think those, for me, finding other kids who also had type 1, wow, what a difference. And then I ended up doing my undergrad work at Montana State in Bozeman, Montana, go Bobcats. And I did that in elementary education. And then went from there to New Hampshire. So when you guys were talking earlier about going to states and stuff like that, I've been to all 50. Not lived in all 50, but been to all 50.
I don't think I have yet. Yeah. I missed a couple. They're warrants. No. I hear they don't allow diabetics here. You got to be careful where you go. What do you mean you don't have refrigeration? Don't you know I carry insulin?
Like, of course not. Insulin? What? Yeah. So it's been, needless to say, it's always been one of those challenges. How do you keep your insulin cold enough as you're doing all that traveling? But, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't give it to the flight attendants anymore. They don't want to be responsible for it. Maybe you'll forget it, they said. Really? I kind of don't think so. Huh? I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, go ahead.
No, I was talking over you. I can be quiet. If I have.
I was just commenting that whenever I go through airport security with it, I have to be like, okay, I have insulin. Yes, that is a liquid. It's under the amount. And then when I go through the, scanner and be like, pat me down here and here, I already know what you're going to ask.
Have they wiped your hands? Have you had that one yet?
Oh, yeah.
Do I look like a terrorist? I'm a woman with an insulin pump. Leave me alone.
Like, it's okay. It's not a pager. It's not a cell phone. It is an insulin pump, and have to explain it to everybody every time. But they're getting better sometimes, so we'll see.
Well, now that I've taken off my shoes and everything else I have, I never see anybody blow up a plane with an insulin pump. I think we should, plead a mea culpa on that one. But I'm sure that's not what you really wanted to bring to our community today. So my question for you now, Sarah, is what T1 issue would you like to bring to our community today?
I think right now it's just the advocacy between there's been a lot of push from higher up than me in terms of the prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, and I think that people are still confused between type 1 and type 2 and prediabetes.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but have you now heard about type 3.C?
Mm-hmm.
A 3C. First of all, I can't figure out what happened to A and B. Okay? That already was confusing to me. So now we have 1.5, 2. Parents of diabetics are sometimes referred to as threes or caregivers, let's put it that way. And now we have 3C, which sounds like a tax form to me. So, I'm sorry I interrupted, but that was just so bizarre to me when I saw that. That certainly cleared matters up, didn't it?
Yeah, of course. No, but I think everything you're saying is totally right on. Like, it's, the fact that we are not talking enough, I think, about type 1. And that's why I'm so glad you have your show.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here with us, and we'll want to bring you up and back some more, saying as we only have a limited amount of time each show. But let's go back to my question, which I probably interrupted you on when you were trying to answer me, Bonnie. What is the issue that you think really is forefront in your mind, and what can we do collectively to try and work toward a resolve? Maybe.
I think one of them could be really, how do we as people with diabetes really take ownership of our disease? I think, how do we, one of the things that I really try and help people do is become the experts, of their type 1 diabetes. And I really think,
Brava.
Yeah. Well, how do we do that? And that's really one of my goals, is to help people out there become those experts. Yeah, we have our doctors, we have our nurses, we have our CDEs, but they don't live with us 24/7, 365. We're with ourselves, so we should know ourselves, the best. Like when you go in and have a meter download or you have a pump download, and they're like, so 3 weeks ago, when you had this blood sugar of 470, what happened? And
good question.
Going, I don't know. Like, let's talk about the fact that my kid's doing this and this has happened at work, and let's talk about the other things that are going on in my life that, So I really think one of those things is, one of the biggest things I want to bring to folks is how they can become the diabetes experts of their type 1 diabetes.
So important. It's so important. That way, no matter where you are, there you are. And you can keep forward. And, if you have a practitioner that you, let's say it's in an emergency room situation, let them know that, I personally take great pleasure in informing them that I've been a diabetic longer, probably than you've been alive, certainly than you've been a doctor, and something tells me, you're a doctor, I give you credit for all those years of training, but what you're not is a type 1.
Yep.
And we know our own diabetes better than anybody. You just have to find a way that they won't bristle, the white coats, when you say that to them.
Exactly.
Because, the egos do get involved, but we couldn't do it without them. So
exactly. And I think for me personally, I'm at the forefront in terms of, being a health educator, so I'm not as clinical. I have to go through some clinical training, but I'm not as clinical as your doctors and your nurses. So I'm at the forefront of that right now in terms of how are we really helping those folks cope with all those things that those white coats are telling them. And how do we, meet them where they're at?
Well, I know that you live in Madison, Wisconsin. Do people, in order to have your coaching facilities and explanation, must somebody live in Madison, or could you work by Skype per se?
Yep. I do Skype, I do phone, I do in person. Throughout Wisconsin, I meet a lot of people in person and not necessarily in my own business. So I go around, and I'm more than happy to have folks give me a call. Or check out my website. I can,
Why don't you do that? Give us that information, please. How can people find you and follow you, Sara?
Sure. So my phone number is 414-9090-T1D. The web address is www.madisont1dcoach.life. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think those are all three of the ones I'm on there. And LinkedIn. I found a lot of people professionally on LinkedIn. So feel free, look for me on Facebook as Madison T1D Coach, Twitter as Madison T1D Coach, Instagram, Madison _T1D Coach, or T1D _Coach, and then LinkedIn under Sara Coach Lasker. But yeah, the best is also, www.madisont1dcoach.life. And just, send me an email, take a look at the website there. And we actually have coming up various adhesive events. So they'll be playing on there the first Monday and third Monday of each month. So for how do you keep your insulin pump on? How do you keep your Dexcom on? There's so many things on the market. People have been like, I don't know how to keep, I'm swimming, I'm biking, I'm just living life. How do I keep this thing on? It keeps falling off. It's not sticky enough. I'm actually doing an event right now that started a week or so ago on the first Monday of October. And it's going to continue on until we've gone through all the ones that are on the market right now.
That's quite an undertaking there, Coach Sara.
It is, I tell you.
Listen, I hate to say goodbye now, but running out of time, we will continue this on. I want to thank you so very much for being my
appreciated.
Anytime. You take good care.
You too.
Thank you. Well, I think we're at the part. Let's see. I did that, right? I did that. Oh, here's the next thing. This is where I implore all of our T1s who are listening to consider being my T1 co-host 1 week with me on the Bonnie Sher Show. It's ridiculously easy. Write to me. Tell me you're interested. Write to me at bonniesher.com, and we'll make sure that it happens. It's really just that easy. Now, next up is Boomer News and Views from my soapbox. Back in 60 seconds.
I love essential oils, but the prices are sometimes crazy. Introducing Simply Earth. Ditch the chemicals, have fun, and save on your wallet with Simply Earth's Essential Oil Recipe Box. Each box comes with 6 recipes and everything you need to make them. 4 to 5 full-size essential oil bottles, 100% pure goodness, all for $39. Use the coupon code BShareRadio to get a $40 gift card emailed to you after you subscribe to this fun essential oil recipe box. Visit simplyearth.com. That's simplyearth.com.
And now, views from the soapbox, which is my take on who should be ashamed and who. Oh, I'm not doing that? What am I doing now?
Boomer News first.
Oh, I didn't do Boomer News. Gosh. Okay, so here's the deal. We're going to do Boomer News. And actually, this is kind of a cool one because today's Boomer News comes to us from Pfizer. And it is called Patti LaBelle Helps Boomers get a new attitude.
Patti LaBelle is looking for backup singers, 65 and older, who boom.
I'm so excited. I mean, just to sing one note in front of Patti, it's just like, I'm done. That's it. I'm good. Hi, Patti.
Hi, sweetie.
I am such a big fan of yours.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Well, right now, girl, you better sing. Terry, cue it up, baby.
What the singers don't know is that we rigged the microphone so it sounds like they have pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious but vaccine-preventable disease.
I'm feeling good from my hat to my shoes. Know where I'm going and I know what to do. I tidied up my point of view.
I'm in control of my ways of you. 'Cause I got love like I never knew.
Then, Patti let the singers in on it.
I got you.
Even if you're healthy, pneumococcal pneumonia can strike anywhere, anytime, and keep you from doing the things you love.
I'm feeling good from my head to my shoes. Know where I'm going and I know what to do.
If you're 65 or older, even if you're healthy, get a new attitude about the risks of pneumococcal pneumonia and talk to your doctor about the importance of vaccination.
Yeah, I went and got my vaccine. I'm all set now. Now, see, I got it now. Now we have the views from my soapbox. It's pretty much my way of expressing who I thought did a damn fine job. And the shout down is more about the person that I feel that should be terribly ashamed. And on that note, let's start out with my shout out to Christelle Marchand Aprigliano and the organization which she co-founded, which is called DPAC, Diabetes Patient Advocacy Coalition. And they have recently created the Affordable Insulin Project, which serves as a central clearinghouse for all of the coupons, special programs, and deals currently available in the insulin market. Check them out. Go to diabetespac.org. You'll be very happy you did. And my shout down is to Bill O'Reilly. Ew. No more to say. Before we say goodbye, I'd like to thank our guest today. That would be Jason Culp. It's the other guy, Bonnie. One more time, it's Jason Culp and Sara Lasker. I'd like to thank Simply Earth for their support of today's show. Remember, use my coupon code BeShareRadio to receive, here she goes, I'm falling down, to receive a complimentary gift card emailed to you after you subscribe to what? To the Essential Oil Recipe Box. Visit them at simplyearth.com. I got mine, and I'm just loving it. So, for you guys too, and that's our show. And I hope you'll return next week for another 50-minute trip through the world of the land of Bonnie, and the land of boomers, and the world of the T1D community, and anything else I can think of. Until then, please visit BonnieSher.com. We have a new website up. It's really neat. Take a look at it, please. Follow the number 1 Bonnie Sher on Twitter, and like the Bonnie Sings Lena fan book page. Many of you are aware of the very special role that Sammy Davis Jr. played in my career. He was not only my mentor, but he was my friend. And so I like to end my show every week sort of Carol Burnett style, with a shout out and a wink and a smile and an I love you and a special nod to you, Mr. D. See you next week.